in Times Square for the fight Friday. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia came in at 146.8. Rollie 146.6. They fighting for the Reggie belt, WBA title. The right to be boots mandatory, which I don't believe that's going to happen. Devin Haney came in at 143 for the contracted fight with Ramirez at 144. Ramirez came at 143.8. I think TeoFemale Lopez is 139.6. Barboza 139.8. I'll try to see if I can find the purses. I'll release that at some point this weekend. But I mean, obviously Ryan's the headliner. A bunch of people in New York cheering him on. It was questions whether he was going to make the weight because he blew it off. I'm pretty sure Rollie and PBC put some things in there where it was some incentives based for him to make the weight, because if he didn't, they was going to get paid. So he made the weight. He was looking a little bit sunken in this week, especially at the weigh-in. I'm at the last press conference. His face was all sunken in, and off a year, it's still hard to make weight, to be real. When you off a whole year, you come in and make weight, that's tough for anybody. And for him, it probably was if it was 144, he probably couldn't even make that. If it was 140, he definitely couldn't make that. So, Rollie, he said that he been weight drained the last few fights, that he should have been up at 147, and maybe we see a more durable, more powerful Rollie Ramirez. Sometimes you move up in weight, your chin gets strong, your chin get more stability, your legs get more stability from pulling that weight down. If you drain too much, that'll hurt you too. But sometimes some guys just can't take a punch. But I think if it's more a fight that was probably more guaranteed to end in a knockout, it's quite a few this weekend. Canelo and Skull, but Canelo ain't knocked nobody out in quite a time in a while. You also could point to FN Jabwe and Martin Bacoli, but I think this one is two wild guys fighting. Obviously, Rollie know what he's signing up for. I haven't heard anything about VADA testing. So I just checked their Twitter page, and they didn't say anything about Ryan Garcia testing at all. I'll say that for the end of the video. So, but I do think it's a very interesting fight from a standpoint of it may be erratic, it may be wild. You put two punches in there, it should be fun. It should be fun. Anything can happen at any given time. It could be a wrestling match. It could be a smothering match. But I think at some point somebody's going to land something of significance in this fight, and I think it's probably more likely going to be Ryan knocking Rollie out, to be real. Neither one of them got no patience. So, we'll see, but, we'll see. Devin and Ramirez is a solid one. Ramirez is a strong fighter. He's spotting him 4 pounds. The idea is to come as close as to the weight as possible and not come under the weight and leave anything in the gym. But Devin came a pound under. That also can signify that he's in shape. Ramirez came a little bit under, so he's going to try to come forward, bully Devin, push Devin back. I seen the title, and Shane said he showed Devin some tricks on how to punch. I think that's going to be Devin's downfall, and that was the downfall of Devin in the original Ryan Garcia fight, was he was trying to go out there, and I see him a lot. People classify him as a boxer, but he doesn't. Shakur is a boxer. But Shakur don't fight, understands who he is, and he fights within his scope. And when you're dealing with Devin, it's kind of like he kind of fighting his identity as a fighter. He wanted to be a puncher. Either you're born a puncher or you're not. And I think, I like that Devin is aggressive on the front foot. He throw punches. He take chances. I would like to see him throw more combinations than he throws. But I think if they being smart about him moving up in weight, I think it's time for him to box. I think it's time for him to, utilize the ring, stick and move, in spots, why the fuck would he do that? like out of all, like, I just be just wondering how smart people really is. What make you think? I ain't even gonna say shit because I'm on break, but I don't give a fuck. These people are just not the smartest people that God put on this planet. Like, this dude just park in the middle. Like, man, what are you doing? You see no dock. I don't know, man. Oh, man. But buy me some more time. So, but yeah, you know, so I think Devin need to focus on hitting, don't get hit. Don't focus on power. When he dropped Regis, it was him doing what he do best, and that was boxing, sticking and moving. He gonna try to make his way up to welterweight, and he gonna try to fight that same style, that front foot style. It's gonna be a problem, in my opinion. He need to worry about sticking and moving, using his footwork, using his speed. Box, hitting, don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? Look to land and not get hit. If he focus on landing and not getting hit, he probably start getting more knockouts. But if you looking to punch through the target and you looking for some secret to be a puncher, there is none. If it was, Paul Nalanaji would be a better puncher. There is no secret to punching harder. You know, you could turn your shots over. You know what I'm saying? You can torque into them. Either you're born a puncher or you're not a puncher. It's just simple as that. You can lock out. You know, but nonetheless, I like Devin in that fight, but it wouldn't surprise me if Ramirez was competitive and won that fight, in my opinion. But in Ramirez and TeoFemale Lopez and Arnold Barboza, that's probably my favorite fight of the weekend. I like the way Barboza, you know, it's got a lot of confidence. He ain't playing with Teo. Teo looked like being in phenomenal shape. You know, if I'm Barboza, I think I'm boxing in this fight. I come out boxing. I make Teo come forward. I make him miss. I make him pay. And when it's time to strap my nuts on, if I have to, I tuck my chin and I start pressing Teo. But that's what Teo wants you to do. Teo wants you to initiate offense so he can work off your offense. Teo wants you to initiate on the front foot because he want to work. He wants you to work. He wants you to work on the front. He wants you to work on the front foot. If he got to find you, if he got to cut the ring off, he got to come to you. Teo is not the same fighter. So that, you know, that's the issue. So if Barboza can box, stick, move, make him miss, make him pay, you know, and Teo don't have great conditioning either. He get tired down the stretch. So it's a good fight. I still pick Teo. You know, I think he, you know, favored, you know, in New York City, the sharper puncher. But I'm pulling for Barboza. But also, like I said, there's no, you know, record of Ryan testing. You know, I know they was supposed to all enter. And maybe they took the PBC route and kept the testing confidential. That's what I think. Maybe they kept the testing confidential. So with them keeping the testing confidential, you know, that's just, it is what it is. Maybe they using a different testing agency than VADA. But I thought that Devin said the rule was they were supposed to use VADA. So who knows if they testing? It's a great question. Who knows if they testing? So, but so be it. You know, a lot of these fighters, you know, they'll be like, I don't care if we test or do or don't test or whatever we got going on. They just care about the check. So if we don't care about drug usage and you don't want to pay for testing, let's not cry and complain about it. In my opinion, I don't want to hear anybody crying. I don't want to hear nobody complaining about it. I just feel that that's just the way I feel about it. So if you don't care about your health, I don't care about my health. So be it. Let's get it going. But as far as the Twitter, Ryan is not listed as testing. But maybe they use a different testing agency, or maybe they kept it under wraps. But yeah, man. So for the most part, I don't care. If they don't care, I don't care. If all they care about is their money, I just don't want to get to the point where they get cheated and then they want to come out here crying and complain. Nah, this is what you signed up for. So if they doing VADA, they probably keeping it under wraps right now. And if, you know, it ain't made public, that's basically telling you that if something happened, you know, we just gonna make a deal behind the scenes and the fight can carry on. Or if it happened, we're gonna keep it under wraps. Remember that email that Teddy Atlas talked about with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather? And Pacquiao allegedly emailed him, according to Teddy Atlas, if I get caught, can we keep this shit on the low? You know, PBC pretty much adopted that. We're gonna do a drug testing, but we gonna keep it confidential. We not. And remember when Porter and Terrence Crawford fought, they it seemed like they put that in the contract. You know, if he get caught, we just gonna keep this testing confidential. And if you ain't got nothing to hide, you shouldn't have nothing to hide. But they don't want to fuck the money up. So it is what it is. You know, it probably came with the same thing to Triple G. They probably came with the same thing. Like, you know, Triple G was like, you know, fuck that. But hey, check out the boxing news playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live and drop video. Hit the link in the description. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love and support, peace.